Today's video, we're going to have a look at the weather towards the end of October and into the start of November for today's video. It looks like it's staying quite cool really going to stay quite cool really across many parts of the country. Cold at times. Some days will be a little bit less cold, but really the general trend I think over the next week, 10 days, couple of weeks will be for the temperatures to be quite cool. Once we get rid of the current mild, damp and gloomy weather that we've currently got across the country, that will happen around Thursday and Friday. Now, for a go video, I just want to talk about the advertisement. There'll usually be a video ad overlaying my weather videos at gazweathervids.com. Please play this video, as you'll be supporting gazweathervids.com by doing that. So we're going to start off with the 500 millibar height anomaly charts, as we usually do for these 10-day videos. So we've got the blue colours here indicating below average heights, but red and orange colours indicate above average heights. Heights really extrapolate to pressure. So at 18,000 feet, we've got above and below average temperatures, but below average temperatures indicated by blue colours, the above average temperatures indicated by the red colours, and then may extrapolate into high pressure. Low pressure blue is low pressure, red is high pressure, and the lines here indicating the jet stream. The jet stream will be digging southwards over the next few days and next couple of weeks, so we are going to be on the cold side of the jet. So we have a trough really over the top of the country. We're on the northern side of the jet, so on the cold side of the jet, a cold trough setting up then with high pressure, a ridge of high pressure out to the west in the Atlantic and going back up towards Greenland and Canada. That's the ECMD there. The GFS is very, very similar. The above average heights there in the Atlantic, going up towards Greenland, out towards Canada as well. So that's where the high pressure is. The jet stream main digging southwards in towards Europe, and the blue colours indicating below average heights, low pressure there, setting up over the British Isles. It will be unsettled and it'll be very cool as well. So we have a look at the GFS temperature ensemble. So this is the current upper atmosphere temperature, and it's very, very warm really in the upper atmosphere. It isn't so on the surface because it's cloudy, damp, gloomy, but in the upper atmosphere it's very warm. But over the next couple of days, those temperatures are going to plunge. There it goes, the lines digging southwards. The red line is average, so all the lines plunge below that red line. It's going to become very cool indeed by the time we get through to the 25th, 26th, 27th of October. Well below average temperatures. It will be cold, and then we're going to stay quite cold then out towards the start of November. Now we do get some scatter coming along these ensemble members once we get through to the 1st of November and beyond, but that's some time away of course. But generally the trend is to keep it quite cool really. Many of these lines here and the main operational run of the GFS model, which we'll look at the moment, do stay quite cold well out into the first week of November. Temperature anomalies for the next week, 23rd of October to the 30th of October, and we're cooler than average here across the British Isles. Look how cold it is across much of Europe as well. Many parts of Europe in for quite a cold period coming week, back troughs setting up over Scandinavia. Really will bring some very cool weather to many parts of the continent, just Spain and Portugal with warmer than average temperatures, and Greece and Turkey over on the other side of the Mediterranean. But really many parts of the continent will be cold in the coming week. For precipitation anomalies for the next week, we're dry than average across many parts of the country, which is surprising really because we've got a big trough setting up, but that's really indicative I think of this weather we've got at the moment, which is anticyclonic, warm anticyclonic. That's sort of skewing these precipitation anomalies. I think once we get through later into the period it will turn more unsettled. So just running through the generic charts, starting off with the GFS model first of all. This is for a week's time, October the 30th. There's the trough there over Scandinavia and to the north of Scotland, but ridge is out in Atlantic. We're bringing down this northwesterly wind. This might be one of the milder days actually in the coming period, but once we get through to 10 days out, the 31st of October, we're taking that trough through across the country, so area of rain will be coming across the country. The ridge is going back up to Greenland, and we're pulling down a northerly wind again, so that will be turning it colder, actually, if anything, through towards the start of November, if that is right. And certainly it's quite unsettled with rain, possibly snow at times over Scotland. And then beyond this, as we get through towards the 2nd of November, so we're into the start of November, then we're taking that trough through, we're introducing this northerly wind, so it'll be turning cold everywhere again, or it will be cold everywhere again for the start of November, with frost and wintry showers particularly, but not exclusively perhaps, over the higher ground of Scotland. For the ECMWF, for a week's time, 30th of October, it's very similar. We've got the ridge out in the Atlantic pulling up towards Greenland and Canada. The low pressure here over Iceland will be coming through across the country, taking it a little bit milder for a time and unsettled. But as we get through towards the end of the period, the 2nd of November, this is 10 days away, a big trough of low pressure there setting up across the country. It's windy, tightly packed isobars, unsettled, cold and windy, very showery as well. This is right. Some of the showers will be wintry in the north, and certainly there could be some thunder, convection, perhaps in some of those showers further south. So this is cold, windy, showery sort of weather out to the start of November. And again, this black line here indicating the jet stream. The jet stream is digging southwards, so on the cold side of the jet digging down into Europe. The Canadian model for GEM finally, and for a week's time, the 30th of October, the low pressure is there up to the north of Scotland. The ridge is out in the Atlantic, going up towards Greenland and Canada. Again, this is probably one of the milder days coming up actually next Tuesday, but it's some time off, so we can't have too much certainty about it, but probably one of the milder days. But as we go through towards the start of November, then we're trying to bring this low pressure up from the south. As you probably gathered by now, the GEM, the Canadian model, is often a little bit different to the ECM, WF and the GFS model. It's perhaps not quite as good at an extended range, but nevertheless the trend is still the same really. The high pressures in the Atlantic, and if we go a little bit beyond this, actually we bring the northerly wind back. So really, despite the fact that the GEM is a little bit different with the detail, the trend remains the same, which is to keep it quite unsettled and quite cold going out to the start of November. There will be some milder interludes coming along, but generally the trend, I think, for the next couple of weeks out to the start of November, maybe into well into the first week of November actually, is to keep it quite cold, quite unsettled, and there will be frost and risk of snow in the north in particular. That's it for now. Come back tomorrow, I'll be doing the 5-day forecast, but that's it for now. Thanks for watching.